Well, Attorney General Pam Bondi, we're so excited to sit down with you. Last time we talked to you, you had just started in this role. We're now here in your office, the Office of the Attorney General, so thank you for having us back. It's been a tough week, though, the past week and a half since we saw this horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk has been very traumatizing, I think, to the entire country. And as Attorney General, I think a lot of people look to you. And I'm wondering what your message would be to Americans out there who, sort of in the wake of all of this, feel like, am I protected? Is my speech protected? Can I talk about politics? What is your message to America?
Sure. People obviously can talk about politics. You can say mean things. You can say nasty things. You can say distasteful things. That is protected speech. But if you speak with the imminent threat to do harm to someone and have the ability to carry it out, we will come after you. You can be hateful all day long, but if you're going to attack someone and have the ability to do that and say things to carry it out, we are coming for you.
Wondering if the DOJ will treat Charlie's murder as a federal political assassination case. Where does this case stand right now? And give me just the scope of things that you're able to talk about from the federal perspective.
So our U.S. attorney in Utah is working hand in hand with the district attorney out there. The district attorney has indicted for first-degree murder and other charges. They are seeking the death penalty, and the firing squad is still on the table in the state of Utah, among other things. So it's indicted in the state, and we're working hand in hand to decide when and if we will indict federally as well. What we will all be sure of is this guy never sees the light of day.
Given the reported discord at Mission and the post prior to the assassination, should we assume that the DOJ has issued data preservation orders and subpoenas to all the relevant social platforms?
We absolutely have issued preservation letters because of the discord and other devices. Yes, we have, and we will continue to investigate all of that.
What do you make of people out there who are still, in some sick ways, championing what happened to Charlie Kirk?
I think it's absolutely disgusting. I think they thought they silenced Charlie, but it had the opposite effect. Look at all the Turning Point chapters that are coming up around this country already. I've had my friends' daughters reaching out to me, wanting to start Turning Point chapters. I didn't even know they were conservative. You know what else? Charlie was a Christian. We know Charlie is in heaven. Charlie was Bible-based, and so is Erica, and she's got to raise those two little kids. But look at Erica Kirk and what she is about to accomplish and what all of Charlie's friends are going to accomplish. I don't think they knew what they unleashed. They didn't when they assassinated Charlie.
It's been quite a week. A week and a half ago or so, we were talking about Irina Zarutska, the young woman on mass transit in Charlotte who horrifically was murdered as well. You said that death is on the table in that case. Is that still where things stand with that case? And is there any timeline on that you can give us?
Yeah, because he horrifically murdered her on mass transit, on the metro, on the rail, death penalty is on the table, and we have jurisdiction over the case. So we are charging it federally for murder on mass transit, and death is absolutely on the table. You know, Laura, I think these cases are even more horrific because they were both captured on video. Her tragic murder and Charlie's assassination. So the world got to see these horrific, horrific crimes.
Does that make it slightly easier in terms of charging for this and seeing that, you know, justice is actually served?
Sure. When you have video evidence, it makes it easier in front of a jury, of course, but it makes it so tough. Think about their families. They have to see that video for the rest of their lives. Their kids have to see it. Charlie's kids have to see it. Her mother has to see it for the rest of their lives. I don't know if when these monsters commit these crimes that they're thinking of all the families that they're destroying or attempting to destroy in the process.
What is it that you're able to do, or what do you think should happen in order to ensure that we don't see any copycats of what happened in the case of that mass transit death, in the case of Charlie Kirk's death? You know, what can we do about that?
You do see that, but people have to realize we will find you, we will catch you. Look at the work the FBI did with ATF on Charlie's assassination. How quickly the FBI had someone in custody for this murder. So we will find you, we will catch you, we will prosecute you. And I think that's a huge deterrent, because I think a lot of people think they can get away with it, and they can't.
You know, this week, just to move on, the president said that he would designate Antifa as a domestic terror organization. He also said he would consider RICO charges against those who fund Antifa. He said that he would do this, though, with your support. So where do you stand on that, and where does the DOJ stand on that?
We talked about Antifa. We're talking about these other groups. Again, you cannot incite violence with an imminent threat, the ability to carry it out, and expect that nothing is going to happen to you. Not in this Department of Justice. So we're looking at Antifa. We're looking at all of these groups.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul this past week endorsed Zoran Mamdani for mayor of New York City. Everybody knows he is a self-proclaimed socialist. Does that scare you to know that there are people out there who are championing policies that would undercut crime control in one of our largest cities in the country?
Well, certainly it does. And these people want to be in an elected office, yet they're anti-police, they're anti-public safety, and I think you're anti-citizen of your city if you're doing that. You have to protect the people of the city in which you live. And look what happened here in D.C. Crime was out of control. We worked hand in hand with the mayor, with the Metro Police, with the Transit Authority, with all of our federal agencies, with the National Guard to restore safety to Washington, D.C. And that's what we're going to do around the country.
There is no doubt that bringing in the National Guard, federalizing the police here in D.C. was a huge success. The next stop is Memphis, Tennessee. What are your 30-day, 60-day, 90-day goals where you would say, hey, this was successful here in Memphis?
I've spoken to the mayor multiple times, and we are going to work with the state police, all of the federal authorities, and I've spoken with Pete Hegseth multiple times. We're bringing in the Tennessee National Guard to stay in Tennessee and help state and federal authorities and clean up Memphis. They have the highest crime rate in the country, and President Trump wants to do everything he can to make Memphis safe. My goal, to do it within 30 days or less. I mean, violence is through the roof. Kash Patel and the FBI came in already and took a bunch of guns off the street, got a bunch of violent offenders off the street, but that is just the tip of the iceberg. That's the beginning. And it's so incredibly dangerous that we're going to come in there in volume and make it safe for the citizens of Memphis.
Well, let me ask you personally about you. This is a high-profile, very tough job, very demanding job. Where do you think things stand? How has it been for you? Was it everything you thought it would be to be Attorney General?
You know, we're running so fast. I feel like we're just running on fast forward 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And, you know, my directive is to make America safe again, and that's what I'm going to do. And then you have to be reactive. You know, when I'm sitting on a plane and I learn that Charlie Kirk had been assassinated, and I'm sitting across from Bobby Kennedy, whose father was assassinated. So you put the brakes on everything else proactively that you're doing and focus on that, but that's part of the job, and that's every aspect of trying to make this country safe and get these monsters off the street. And we're just going to look forward and keep going forward as fast as we can, ignore the chatter, and do what we can to keep all Americans safe.
Want even more Fox News on YouTube? Become a Fox News Patriot today. Click join to find out how.